Hi, you are here with Latrice from the Titus 2 Women channel, and today I am here with you speaking about or talking about Jeremiah 23. Previous videos I've done on Jeremiah 23, I've spoken to the flock that is mentioned in that chapter about them being deceived and how, their responsibility and being led, misled by their pastors and the prophets and things as such. But today, I'm doing this video regarding and speaking to the pastors, the prophets, those that are new, those that are old, whomever will listen, because as I was growing up, when I was probably in my late teens, I guess I would say, I found out, or I happened to hear some older gentlemen talking. They may have been like maybe 50s, 60s and up. Yeah, like I know at least 50s and up. And a few of them were pastors, and some were had the word reverend in the front of their name. And what they were saying actually was how they had chosen to become reverend because of the financial gain that was possibly from it. Those that I was hearing in the conversation didn't actually have like a literal, following, people where they were had a physical building, had church members and things like that, but they had the word reverend in the front of their name. And but they hung out with other pastors that did have flocks and such things like that. And so as I read this, and the this time in reading Jeremiah 23, it just really stuck out more about the pastors. And where I was just led to I've spoken to the flock, let me speak to these pastors, because maybe they don't know. Maybe there's someone out here that is a new pastor, a new that just accept their calling, maybe surrounded by seniors and men that have been doing this a long time, that may have or may not have abided by what Jeremiah 23 will state in a moment, one of a few scriptures, because really I just want the word to speak for itself. It begins with, "Woe to the shepherds who are causing the sheep of my pasture to perish and are scattering them, declares the Lord." You heard the first word, woe, okay? That means, listen, in danger, right? Then goes on to say, "Therefore, this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says concerning these shepherds who are tending to my people." See, and that's another thing. When you're dealing with God people, listen, there's some rules and regulations, understand, that you must follow. And so let me go forth. It says, "You have scattered my flock, and you have driven them away, and have not been concerned about them. Behold, I am going to call you to account for the evil of your deeds, declares the Lord. Because of the words of his holiness, both prophet and priest are defiled. Even in my house I have found their wickedness, declares the Lord." See, so he's already saying that he's been looking the whole time, right? He's watching every move, everything that you say, everything that you do, okay? Let me keep reading. He goes on to say, "Therefore their way, priest, prophet, will be slippery paths to them. They will be driven away into the gloom and fall down in it. For the Lord will bring disaster upon them, and the year of their punishment, declares the Lord." He says, "Moreover, the prophets, he saw an offensive thing, and they prophesied by Baal and led his people astray. He goes on to say, also the prophets, he have seen a horrible thing. They're committing of adultery and walking in deceit, and they strengthen their hands. They strengthen the hands of the evildoers, so that no one has turned back from their wickedness. I want to just pause right there. So you are saying that you're leading God's people, but yet you're not causing them to turn from their wickedness. There's accountability. Okay, let's keep reading. He says, all of them has come like Sodom and have inhabited habitations like Gomorrah. Therefore, this is what the Lord of armies says concerning the prophets. He says, behold, I am going to feed them wormwood and make them drink poisonous water. And for the prophets, ungodliness has spread it into all the land. So could it be that what we're seeing now is due to pastors and the pastors and the... Okay, let me keep reading. This is what the Lord of armies says. Do not listen to the words. So he's talking to the flocks about the situation with him and the pastors. He says, do not listen to the words of the prophets who are prophesying to you, for they are leading you into fertility. They tell you a vision of their own imagination, not from my mouth. Okay? He then goes on to say, and they keep saying to those who despises him, the Lord that is, that the Lord said, you will have peace. And as for everyone who walks in the stubbornness of their own heart, they're saying that disaster will not come to them or come upon them. But the Lord asks us this: who has stood in the counsel of the Lord? What that he should see and hear his word, and who has paid attention to his words and listened? Let's read a little further. He then goes on and says, behold, the storm of the Lord has gone forth in wrath, even a whirling tempest. It will swirl down on the head of the wicked. Now, there is a scripture that says that he's going to judge his people, and he's going to start at the church. So this wicked also means pastors and priests. Now remember, again, this video is for you that are newcomers, that I am giving you this word so that you will take heed, and that you will go to Jeremiah 23, read it for yourself, and therefore walk differently. Okay? Also, let me keep going. He then says, the anger of the Lord will not turn back until he has reformed, or until he has performed and carried out the purpose of his heart. And in the last days, it will be clearly understood. He did not send these prophets, is what he's saying, but they ran, and they did not even speak to him, but they prophesied. Let's keep going. He said, but had they stood in his counsel, then they would have announced his words to his people, and they would have turned them back from their evil way and from the evil of their deeds. So that means that the people's lives would have been changed, right? Let's keep reading. He says, now that he is not a God, isn't he a God who is near, declares the Lord, and not a God far off? He says, can a person hide himself in hiding places? Meaning, can you hide from him what you're doing? No. And then he says, so that I do not see you, declares the Lord, and do I not feel the heaven and the earth, declares the Lord. For he has spoken, it says, I have heard what the prophets have said who prophesy falsely. This lets us know that God has an ear. to what we're saying to his people. Okay? He said that he has heard what the prophets have said, who prophesied falsely to his people, and how they are saying that they have a dream. And his question is, how long? Is there anything in the hearts of the prophet who prophesy falsehood? Is there anything in their hearts, these prophets of the deceitfulness of their own hearts, who intend to make his people forget his name by their dreams, which report to one another, and as their fathers forgot his name because of Baal? I'm going to keep going. He then says, but let them who has my word speak my word truthfully. For what does straw have in common with grain? Because, declares the Lord, for is my word not like fire, declares the Lord, and like a hammer which shatters a rock. Therefore, behold, I am against the prophets, declares the Lord, who steals my words from each other. And behold, I am against the prophets, declares the Lord, who uses their tongues and declare that the Lord declares. Behold, he is against those who prophesy false dreams, declares the Lord, and reports them and lead his people astray by lies and reckless boasting. Yet he did not send you, nor commanded you, nor do he provide this people the slightest benefits, declares the Lord. Then he goes on to say, for you will no longer remember the pronouncement of the Lord, because every person's own word will become the pronouncement, and you have perverted the words of the living God, the Lord of armies, our God. And therefore, behold, I will certainly forget you and thrust you away from my presence, along with the city which I gave you and your fathers, and I will put an everlasting disgrace on you and an everlasting humiliation which will not be forgotten. And so I ask, is that what you signed? Was that your heart's desire to accept the call of God? You believed he called you. Was that your heart's desire to accept it, to be disobedient, to not say his word, to follow how, a senior pastor or another man of God, studies or goes about how he lives, or goes about how he preaches the word, or goes about how he does, or what he does. Again, did you accept this calling that you believe that you've been called so that you could be put to everlasting disgrace? So that you could lie to his people? So that you could not see their lives change, but yet see the world change for the worse because you were lying? Because you did not go in his counsel or seek his counsel? Like I said at the beginning, I heard a conversation of men speaking that they decided to choose Reverend as a form of getting them income. But let that not be you. It's time for a turnaround for pastors and ministers and those that are called, even Sunday school teachers and teachers and praise team leaders and praise team members and choir members. There's time for a change for all of us that's teaching someone. Are we standing in his counsel and listening to his word and teaching what he has said so that the lives of the people can be changed? So again, this was not for the flock. This was for the pastors and the prophets and those that are the teachers that are leading them. And that I would encourage you to lead them the right way, and I would definitely encourage you to read Jeremiah 23 for yourself. Again, thank you so much for being here with me on the Titus 2 Woman channel. I ask that you would like, subscribe, and comment to this video. And if you know a pastor, or if you are a new pastor, or one that has a call on your life and you running, or if you're the one who has accepted their call, again, seek the counsel of God. Stay in the counsel of God. Read Jeremiah 23 for yourself so that you will know what not to do, what it looks like. He gives a clear picture of what's going on, right? So until next time, you be blessed. Bye for now.